just finished watching the Netflix documentary about Colin Kaepernick, and honestly, I really liked it. I know this has brought up a lot of different controversy. I've heard there's been all kinds of buzz, all kinds of negative reviews that he's gotten, but me personally, I really enjoyed it. And to be perfectly honest, I actually resonated with it in very many ways. First things first, I mean, I'm not a man and I've never played sports before, but I think where I really identified with him is just his experience growing up in a mostly predominantly white environment. When I was young, there was a good aspect of my childhood where I was pretty much just all around white people. So being that token black person, or being that person that just always sticks out even if you don't want to, wanting to kind of fit in or wanting to have a certain experience but knowing that you will never, I really resonated with that. And so I think the movie just did a great job of really bringing you into his experience, how he experienced his childhood and his high school. Like, I mean, I felt the emotion in every different moment. I thought it was just beautifully done. But that is one area where I, like I said, personally resonated with that. And I mean, it's interesting. I mean, he spent time in Turlock. Like, I literally worked in Turlock for some time. So like I said, just in very many ways, that story was like, yes, I get it. I agree. Now, I'm not a big sports fan. I've never really been a big football, just sports person in general, but I think he did a phenomenal job of actually showing, you know, the history, for better, for worse, but actually just showing how these things are connected. So much of our current reality is linked to our past, however good or bad it may be. And, you know, although it may not be comfortable for many people to admit it, it's like, yeah, there are many aspects of our society today that are still linked to a bad history of chattel slavery, that are still linked to a history of oppression that and today very much still happens. May not be blatant and may not be in your face, but it still takes on different forms. And so I think he did a really good job of exploring that and exposing that, and even exposing some of the different discrimination and racism that honestly takes place in the NFL to this day. I mean, I remember when my husband told me not too long ago that he knew somebody from the NFL that had a coach who told him that, hey, if you go to parties, just don't bring black women. Like, the coach was very, very, very open. Like, do not bring black women to these kind of parties. And they specifically put these players around non-black women. And so, and I do know that each coach or each team has a different culture. Like, I have a good friend of mine who married an NFL player, and she's black, he's black. So I know this is not all teams, but we also can't act like, you know, it doesn't exist. It very much is a good old boys club. I mean, we've seen that even the way in sportscasters, the way they talk about certain players, the way they talk about black players versus white players. Like, even the whole team, the Tim Tebow situation, where I know the media really loved him and loved how he was open about his relationship with God, but there have been plenty of other black players that had been open about their relationship with God, and they never got the same amount of viewership. And so I do think he did a great job of kind of exposing some of the different issues that are inherent even within the game itself. And I know that probably made some people upset, but I'm just like, the truth is the truth. It is what it is. So I don't know. I enjoyed it. I didn't really expect to enjoy it. I'm not gonna lie, because I've never really been a big football fan, and it was kind of something my husband wanted to watch, and I was like, okay. But we ended up watching like all episodes all back to back, and it was really entertaining to me. And I feel like I got a good sense of his story, his perspective, how he sees life, and it also was pretty inspiring. So yeah. That was my experience with the documentary. If you check it out, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. And thank you for listening if you've gotten this far, and we will talk later. Bye.